All right, I think I saw Representative Steve Riley come in, and I know he's kind of going back and forth between a couple of committees. So if we can sneak in House Bill 527, an act relating to the educational stability of children in out-of-home placements. Hi, welcome, and please introduce yourselves for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and I appreciate you being able to work us in, and all the senators. Thank you very much. I'm Steve Riley, representative from the 23rd District, and I'll let my guests represent themselves, and I'll start the process.
I'm Terrence Sullivan from Kentucky Youth Advocates.
I'm Corinna Cash. I'm a freshman at Xavier University.
You know, one of the best things that I think we've done in the 2 years I've been here is between the House and the Senate, and through also with bipartisan support, is what we've done for foster children in the state of Kentucky. And this bill also deals with that situation. The simple part of this bill is that it will create educational stability for our foster children and children in the cabinet that have to move residence for various reasons from time to time. These children oftentimes are forced to change schools, and in many cases when they do, it negatively impacts their education for various reasons. And this bill basically does that. And I'm going to let my two folks here talk a lot more than I have, because you'll figure out why they're going to talk more when they do. They're very eloquent.
First, I want to thank Chairwoman Rocky Adams and the rest of the committee for having me here today. Like I said, my name is Corinna Cash. I'm a current freshman at Xavier University, and I'm here today to speak on behalf of House Bill 527. I'm also here to highly encourage you to vote yes for this bill. I came across the idea for this bill last year when I had the opportunity to tutor a young girl in foster care who, for the sake of her privacy, we'll call Jaden. Whenever I first met Jaden, I was blown away at how much she struggled at basic division problems. She was in 5th grade, so surely she must know 30 divided by 6, right? I simply thought that she didn't pay attention or didn't like math. As the months trickled on, however, I learned that she was in foster care and had moved homes 3 times over a 2-year period. Each new placement caused her to move to a new school, each of which was at a different place in the curriculum. Further, she could wait for over a week to actually be enrolled and in class due to slow record transfers. Turns out, the reason she didn't know how to divide is because she'd never actually been taught. And 2 years in, she'd fallen so far behind that she felt like there was no reason to even try to learn at that point. Because even if she did manage to catch up, she just moved schools in a few months anyways, so what was the point? This why try attitude also extended to building those important relationships with peers and her teachers too. Over the 6 months I tutored her, we made great progress. About 1 month before her school year ended though, I went to our regular tutoring sessions and it turns out she'd moved schools again. I haven't seen her since. This bill does 3 major things to help kids like Jaden. First, it spells out the process for determining if a child placed in foster care should remain in their school of origin, with that determination being the best interest of the child. When it is in their best interest to remain in the same school, it clarifies how the transportation process will be covered. However, if it is in the best interest of the child to move schools, this bill requires that children in foster care be immediately enrolled in a new school and that their most essential records be transferred within 3 days, so they can avoid losing educational days and ensure a smooth transition. As a Commonwealth, we cannot continue to neglect the educational needs and long-term success of our most vulnerable citizens. Instead, we must work to provide them with the stability and education that has been proven to counteract the trauma and neglect in which they face. By allowing foster kids to be immediately enrolled in schools and back in class within 3 days, we are ensuring that they are spending less time waiting and more time in class learning and building essential relationships. By allowing the best interest of the child to be included in what is best for them, we are allowing them to have a continuous education, the comfort of a familiar community, and maintain the relationships they already have. By allowing foster kids to have foster children to have school stability, we can improve the lives of not only Jaden, but of every foster child in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Educational stability is an issue that we've known has a profound impact on outcomes for children in foster care. We've long seen the disruption from moving schools, and we were excited to work with Corinna when she approached us about improving educational outcomes for children removed from their homes for abuse and neglect. At Kentucky Youth Advocates, we appreciate all the work undertaken by the members of the Senate to support children in foster care. This past Monday, this committee passed House Bill 1, and we believe that this bill builds on those same principles. Last session, this bill passed through the Senate, and we ran out of time once it got over to the House. But during the interim, we were able to work through and refine the language. We reached out to KSBA and were able to improve the language, ensuring the pieces around record transfer and the pieces with the credit transfer issues worked for schools. We were also able to work with the Department for Community-Based Services to ensure that the language around transportation reflected the agreement they put in place since last session with the Kentucky Department of Education. This bill codifies and outlines the process for DCBS and schools to maintain educational stability for children in foster care when it's in the best interest of the child to do so, and if the child must move schools, to make sure their records get transferred swiftly. The bill outlines how this process should happen to prioritize educational stability when it's appropriate, and it will help in making sure that these requirements are implemented consistently across the more than 170 school districts of the Commonwealth. Thank you all for your consideration of this measure to support the educational outcomes of children in foster care, and we welcome any questions that you have.
All right, thank you for your presentation. And did you say you went to Xavier?
I do go to Xavier.
My son will be a freshman in the fall, so.
So exciting.
So you have to be nice to him. Okay.
I'll do it.
We do have one question, Senator Buford.
Thank you all, and thanks for bringing this bill forward. I notice on page 3, it indicates that the previous school shall provide to the new school, notwithstanding this KRS, which I'm not sure if there's any penalties there, all records within the student information system maintained by the Department of Education regarding a child within 3 working days of receipt of the request. Is there any penalty or enforcement or fine in that?
No, we don't have any penalty in the bill. It's just an encouragement to schools to expedite this process.
Good enough, thank you.
I have a motion and a second on the bill, but we do have one more question from Senator Meredith.
Not a question, just a comment to Representative Riley. I guess once an educator, always an educator, and I just commend you for your continued commitment to the youth of Kentucky. It truly is inspiring. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I agree. Great work. All right. Seeing no further questions, I have a motion to accept House Bill 527. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Alvarado. Senator Buford. Senator Danny Carroll. Senator Julian Carroll. Senator Givens. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Kerr. Senator Meredith. Senator Thomas. Senator Wise. Chairwoman Rocky Adams.
Aye. All right. Do I have a motion for consent? I have a motion and a second for consent. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, it will be on consent.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you
Chair.
very much.
One other comment I'd like
Yes,
that
sir.
because of young people like these two right here, I'm encouraged about the future of the Commonwealth.
Definitely, I'll echo that.